Welcome back to Power Rangers Playback. I'm Catherine Sutherland, and this is...
Akia Marie. Hi, guys.
Hi, welcome back. We have a really fun interview today with our two very special friends, Johnny Bosch and Jason Narvy.
Hey.
Special.
Hello.
Oh, my God. And for those of you that don't know, these two are a part of this amazing project, which is what we're going to get into, called SPADES.
Did you almost forget there for a second?
Spades.
I didn't forget.
I wasn't sure if it was singular or plural. Right?
It's SPADES with an S.
Yeah.
No, yeah, how are you?
Good.
We're doing good. We're doing well. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Congratulations on your film. I'm so proud of you. I know it was quite a long labor of love, especially with Johnny being the director, the producer, the writer, the editor, the stunt coordinator, what else? The musician, the composer.
The dancer in the background.
Yeah.
Well, since Kat already started off with that, like what made you want to wear that many hats for this project?
I didn't want to wear that many hats. But to save on the budget, it just made sense, But that's also why it took longer. Because I was in certain points looking for maybe somebody else and reaching out to have maybe a colorist come in or an editor, but every person that was qualified was 10-20 grand more. VFX was easily 30 to 40, because most of the VFX is you actually don't, it's like a invisible VFX, changing a background, replacing a building, or logos and branding and street signs and whatever, store signs, stuff like that. So and then there was the obvious VFX that was over it, the supernatural stuff, which is supposed to be a little over the top anyways, but that would have cost us 30 or 40, so it was just one of those things where I just like, you know what, I'll just do it, try to keep it as low as I can. So because I don't know, we've never taken this is our first feature film. We've done shorts, and so this is our first feature film. So it was one where we were like, all right, well, this one we're just gonna walk it all the way through the finish line and see what that whole process is, getting a distributor, dealing with sales agents or whatever else. Like, what are all those aspects that come in later, So we didn't know all that stuff, and so keeping the budget down, then we can just kind of like, all right, well, let's see what's going to happen. We would, so, and sorry, and for it to cap out about 50, then it was like, okay, that is manageable, like, it's like, even if I lose that money, it's like, all right, fine, whatever, I can make that up or whatever at some point. But if I spent 250, the budget should have been about 500, really, to be done right. But there's no way we'd make that money back, not on our first feature film. Right. Narvy, you were going to say something or add something to that?
Very similar to what you were saying, actually. And it's interesting, too, for being our first film, we didn't know if it was great for us to have to come to distributors and be like, look, $50,000, you make your money back. Yeah. We thought that was a selling point. And it was. People were very impressed. But afterwards, we found out that, they consider under 100,000 a micro budget. We're like,
yeah.
Oh man,
100,000, 150, yeah. Anything over 150, then it's like they're like, maybe not. Yeah. It has to be you have to have a star in it or something else to qualify it being over that.
Can you tell the audience just briefly, about those that haven't seen the movie, what is SPADES? Can you give us just like a brief synopsis of what the movie is about without giving away anything?
Sure. Narvy, do you want to?
Yeah, I'll start off. I mean, it's an action thriller. Start off with that. A lot of action films are just straight up action. This is a thriller as well. Mystery in it. Basically, it's about a cop suffering from PTSD after the death of his friend during the war. And while on the streets, while he's suffering from his PTSD, there's a vigilante loose, taking out the very suspects that he is hunting. And he starts to wonder if actually that is his buddy. from the war, who's dead.
Okay.
What was that? Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, what was
Yeah.
that?
It
That
sounded
was-
like somebody
that was-
flushed the
Someone
toilet.
flushed the toilet?
Like, what?
I'm in Pennsylvania. We don't
Is
have
that-
indoor plumbing.
Here, you were talking about a ghost. Maybe it's that ghost.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Somebody has the microphone on and is in the toilet right now. All right.
That's hilarious.
So did you guys did you write the script together? Like how did you guys collaborate on this? How did that come together?
I wrote the script. I actually started writing it back when we were on Power Rangers. I was writing bits and pieces of or elements of action, and it was originally going to be like because Jason Frank wanted to do something, so I was like, and then I would like show him, hey, what about this idea? And he was like, yeah. So sometimes he'd be like, oh, that sounds cool or whatever. And so I was just like, and so I collected over the years some ideas, and then it wasn't until like 2015 when I actually had like a first draft of the script done, but it was called Boom Click Boom. And then in 2019, I had basically dialed in that a couple more drafts, and then we were going to shoot in 2020, basically started 2020. And then we had prepped or whatever for like, it felt like 10, 11 months to shoot this film. And then Jason backed out, but then I had already spent money to make this thing. Long story short, we went and I had to pivot and we created a whole other short, in 1 week. We shot Arc Exodus. So I had this script now that was ready to go, but now we couldn't do. And so I'd sat on it. We did Arc Exodus. We kind of went through, well, let's see, it's a 40-minute short film, and we tried to sell that. And then we had some guys that were like, yeah, this is cool. We want to take it on. We want a competition. And these guys that fund films for like Warner Brothers, they gave us some money, for winning. And then they were like, hey, yeah, we're interested. We want to pitch this as a series. So then they were like, gave us like a set of things to do. It's like, so write 3 seasons worth and, build and it's like it's like a budget breakdown for the pilot episode and all this stuff. And so we were like, so we did. It was very stressful.
And I will say this, let me actually correct you a little bit, Johnny. They wanted a feature, and we said, well, can we pitch you a pilot instead? And that's what they came back with.
No. Actually, they did. They do features. They did features and they did animation, and they said they wanted to get into the series.
Oh,
so that's when and that's why they told me all that stuff. No. I'll get back
again. I mean, here we go.
It gets to that. You're right, but late. Late. It happened later. So it was like a series that they said, and that's the only reason why I was like, okay, let's do it. It wasn't like my idea to do a series. I'd rather do a film. But they told us, yeah, we want to try to pitch a series. We haven't done it, but this is like a new thing, and we're going to be going into Netflix and whoever else. And so we did. And we remember that was a really tough time. Like we sat down and we hammered it out. 3 seasons worth, dialed in the pilot episode, budgeted. The budget was really hard to figure out because we were like, I don't know. I mean, it's 3 seasons. We're just making it up. We're like, whatever, let's just make it up. And then, because they kind of had a cap on like how many millions, with whatever stars. And then they were like, give us a wish list of stars that you want. And so then I presented that to them and they're like, okay. And then it felt like a year went by, and they're like, every once in a while they'd email and say, yeah, we're still trying. Well, yeah, we're about to go in. And then eventually after a year I was just like, guys, what's going on? You're telling me this and that. And he's like, well, the problem is we haven't really done the series and we're having trouble figuring out how to pitch it and things are changing. So if it was a feature film, then we'd have no problem. And so I was like, okay, so if we had a feature film, then you could sell this thing. And they're like, yeah, if it was a feature film, we could do it. And then I was like, okay, all right then. And then so I was like, so if I bring you a feature film, you can sell it. Yes. Okay. And then that's when I was like, you know what? And then I talked to Narvy and I was like, hey, look, this is a situation. They're thinking if we had a feature film, yeah, they'd sell it. So they've been sitting on it for a year. And so that's when we were like, all right, well, what are we going to do? And then Narvy was like,
Arc Exodus, do we go back to scratch?
Right. It was either like, hey, so do we take Arc Exodus into a feature film? But at that point, we'd already spent so much time creating the series that it was like, I don't know if that works now, unless we did like 3 movies, like a trilogy for each season, basically. But then it also seemed like, well, if we were going to do it, the budget would be too high because there's so much more. It's like sort of in the future. And so Narvy was like, well, what if we did Boom Click Boom? What if we redid that? And then I was like, I don't know how we're going to do that. It's like, well, just, maybe, because like there were 3 characters in it. They're post-military. They each suffered from PTSD and dealt with it in a different way. And so he was like, well, why don't you just take 2, combine them, we'll switch this around, move some things around. And I was like, I don't know. Not sure if I can do that. And then the more I thought about that over a few months or whatever, I was like, no, wait, maybe I can do that. And so I did. I just started, adjusting the script. Yeah. And then shrunk it in. But then it was just like a straight up action film. And then
buddy action film is what it was.
Yeah, there was quite a bit of action in the original script, and so it was basically an action film. And then there was just an element that I felt like it wasn't satisfying enough for me, and so I wanted a supernatural element to it. And Trevor Mueller, who I would also pitch to, I was like, what if I did a supernatural thing to it? And he's like, don't do supernatural. Don't do supernatural. And then I went to Narvy and I said the same thing. He's like, well, what does that look like? And then I was like, well, all right. And then so basically we were on the phone for like maybe 30 minutes as I was like, I don't know, what about this and that? And then at one point it just clicked in my head and I was like, oh. And then I had it. And then he was like, yeah, that sounds cool. And then from there, then I just rewrote the script to pivot back into this other direction. And
it's a long process for you.
It was a very long process. Actually, it's so much longer than even that, but that's like the short.
That's the short.
Yeah. Whenever I start talking about it, I go like, oh yeah, it was originally, we were going to do this but then we had to pivot. So it's kind of complicated. But indie film production is complicated, even with the script that we had when it was all dialed in and we're ready to go and I'm getting locations and all that stuff. Just dealing with that stuff was a nightmare, the locations wasn't that bad, but it was like, oh, we got to get permits. We got to get insurance. Then you got to like write down all the action, and it has to be a very specific, like whatever your action is, that you have to write that in and send that in. And then they'll tell you how much you have to pay to get insurance. And so it was like, okay, then I got to take this stuff out. Then I got to take that stuff. So we had to like shave out a ton of action so that I could afford it really,
What ended up, I'm sorry. So what ended up happening with the company? You made all these adaptations.
Okay, so we had finished the film and it was all done, and then I contacted him. I was like, hey, we got a feature. And he was like, oh yeah, we aren't doing that anymore.
What?
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
And then he was like, but hang
industry.
on. But yeah. He was like, but hang on, I might have somebody. Let me call a few people and I'll get back to you. And then he didn't really get back to me.
So old talk. Old talk, it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah. And so I mean, we were just, but even during that, as soon as he was like, yeah, no, we don't do that anymore. Well, he had a company that he would go to in like Europe or something, and to get the distribution or whatever, and something like they aren't doing that anymore, but we're still financing, and so
there's more to it that's much funnier that I don't want to say on the air, but he'd keep coming to Johnny with projects, and he really had a actor that he really wanted Johnny to work with.
Yeah,
it kind of became a running joke, like if we put that actor in this movie.
Right. Yeah, there were a few, maybe rewrite this. Will you write this or change this for us, or rewrite somebody else's script? Maybe you can come in and direct. Maybe you can come in and play a character on something. And then it was just like, And the projects were never anything where I was like, oh, nice.
No, there was one. Remember, we got one. He gave us that one, and we watched the trailer, and we're like, I don't know if it was the sizzle reel or if it was the actual thing. We're like, it's terrible. And so we like rewrote it completely for the guy.
Yeah.
We had one of our epic phone calls again.
Yeah.
And here you go. And then we decided to go a different direction.
Yeah. Well, the guy it was like this thing, it's like a martial arts thing, and this guy and his daughter, and they shot this trailer inside their house, and it was not great, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, the kid was, I guess that, you know, anyone sees their kid can do some martial arts, like, oh yeah, we can make money on that. We're like, well, we can't.
Yeah, well, they had the whole thing and she was like young. She was like maybe 10 or something.
Mhm.
She's like beating guys up that are like, you know, 300 pounds. It's like, let's make
Oh,
it.
is that
And it's in
realistic?
my mind, I'm like, let's make it make sense, though. You know, let's.
You know, I
let's do
think
it.
I just saw an indie film, and I now wonder if it's those same people.
It could
because
be. They could have made it happen.
I mean, it was a short though, so it was great.
Oh,
For
okay,
the film
okay.
festival. It was about a girl who, like, her mom was a drunk. I don't know why, and the neighbor across the street was a little stranger danger, and he invited her over for candy or whatever. And then suddenly the girl kicks his ass. It was great, actually.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah, I mean, there's ways you can do it,
kick their
but
ass.
she's not going to be able to do like some whatever martial arts her way
No,
out of a.
no.
It just
It was
didn't.
like watching Yoda flip around, you know.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Did you do all the choreography for the stunts, Johnny?
I can't take credit for all of it because we had brought out a few
Amanda?
people actually. We had Amanda come out. We had Hector Garcia from, you know, Andrew even came out, but Hector choreographed his fight scene. Basically, if you were in the fight scene, you assisted in the fight scene.
Okay.
So, you know, whoever was out and doing, you know, and then we had a ton of people, you know, that came out. Brett, who was doubling Narvy, you know, helped choreograph the fight that he has, you know, and so I didn't give anyone a credit as choreographer because everyone contributed. Obviously, if I'm there and I'm doing stick stuff with a knife, I'm knowledgeable enough to know what to do. But then the guys that I was with are also highly trained martial artists and know Belinta Walker or Eskrima. So it's like, all right, what would you do at this point? You know, and then I'd ask them, and then I'm like, oh, maybe I'll counter with this. And so everybody contributed in the choreography. So, you know, so I can't really say just me. I would say yes or no to something, you know, and then set up an angle or the camera. But then I brought David Wald in to do the warehouse stuff. So we would build out the scene, and then he and I would discuss, well, what do we want to feel? And then he would say, well, I could shoot it like this, or I could do this. What's the emotion? Like, what do we want? Like, really just what does the audience want to feel, you know? And so we adjusted every fight depending on what the pace and feel should be for the audience, really.
Can we show the audience your trailer now? Are you guys okay with that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't know we could do that. Look at the
You had a trailer?
Yeah. Come on.
Wait, did we send it?
It's on YouTube, guys. You can watch it on YouTube.
Yeah. You're gonna play it right now?
Yeah.
Oh,
Alex,
okay.
Just so the audience can see.
Lick your lips.
Oh,
the teaser trailer.
the teaser.
Yeah.
That's the teaser trailer.
so where did you guys film? Like, where were the locations?
LA.
Whenever I watch a film, I'm trying to see, if I've been there or where did you guys film? Where were the locations?
So the desert stuff was in out towards Lancaster, you know, Rosalie.
Yeah, they have those giant wind turbines there. We filmed basically California, where it was all in LA.
Okay.
And so we had a ton, but there was one there. I don't know if it was. I saw it in your movie. I think it's the same hospital. I think we used the same hospital that you
That's
used in your
funny.
movie.
Envisionate Studios. Envisionate Studios. That's where
I think so. I think.
Burbank?
Yeah. It's the same one. Yeah, same place. Because I remember when I was watching your movie, I was like, oh, this is the
That's
same
funny.
place. I recognized it. Yeah, so there was, we had quite a few. Everything was in LA. And then there's locations, you can get locations. There are a ton of locations, I should say, that have become available now that independent filming is becoming a bigger deal. And so that was kind of cool. And and street stuff we stole. all the street stuff we stole.
We're giving it back.
Except for an alley. There was an
giving it
alley
back.
location that we
We
paid
had to pay
for, but then the smoke machines stopped working, and it
and
was
we paid for that too.
noisy. It was just nonstop noise. There's like somebody had music going on. It seemed like there's a parade or something happening. And it was like, I paid for this alley and there's no control whatsoever.
Wow.
And so it was the sound was a nightmare. And then we complained, and he was like, well, we'll give you this. It's like a dance club location. We're like, well, it's not in our movie. It doesn't do us any good.
We couldn't use it for the bar, but we'd already shot that.
Right.
Oh, and the location that we were supposed to shoot at,
the woods,
the forest, exactly. Yeah. Johnny and Paula get there first.
Yeah. So I booked a location, paid for it, and I show up. And we show up early, because whatever, we needed to set everything up. I mean, it was going to be a long day because there's a ton of stuff that happens in the woods. And so
there's going to be fire trucks and
cop cars, whatever. So I had to it's a big deal. So we ambulance, we had a guy bringing cars out. And so we're there. It's super early. It might be like 5 a.m. or something. And we get to the location and the gate is locked. And I can't get a hold of him. I'm emailing, I'm calling, no answer. And then I start to think, dang, did I just get scammed? Did I just pay a person for a location and it's not even theirs? And so, an hour goes by, maybe an hour and a half, and I'm like, I got to figure this out. And so I just start walking, because there's the woods, and it's like this one was fenced off, but I'm like, maybe I can cheat. Maybe I can steal some of these woods over here. So I start walking, and then I see a sign that's like campgrounds or whatever. And then it had a phone number, and I was like, And so I called the number, and this lady answered. She's like, what? And I was like, hey, so this is going to sound ridiculous, but I've got a small independent crew here. We're shooting a film in the woods. We paid for another location, but it seems like it's locked and we can't get in. Can I pay you? And she's like, what? You want to pay me to shoot? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, well, come over. I just woke up. And then she's like, makes herself some coffee, and she comes out and she's like, what do you want to do? And I sort of re-explain everything. And it's a beautiful campground. It looks like it's like maybe, kids would do church camp there, or schools would go there and do.
You go, it's not campground. It's like,
it's like a
co-op
adventure camp kind of thing. Yeah.
And
so they would have activities or something, because it was big. It had like a cafeteria and all this other stuff in little dorms. And she was like, yeah, all right. And then so I paid her what cash I had on me. And she was like, all right, yeah, come on, you can shoot for the day. And so we had this amazing woods. And then, but there's so much more to it. She was like, you can set up in the cafeteria. And
it was nice.
Coffee, they let us use their coffee maker and water.
Oh, she opened up everything to us, She's like, do you want me to cook for you guys or whatever? And I was like, oh, no, we'll figure out food ourselves.
Who's going to cook for us? And you said no?
Well, because, dude, it's going to be a long day, and she's going to prepare food for us, and it just wasn't going to work out.
I don't have a problem with
that. Yeah, the amount of time we would take to break to eat the food and then try to come back was ridiculous.
Oh, I do have a problem with that, right?
Yeah. You want to sleep after a big meal. And so we had already kind of figured out what we were going to do for food anyways, because that was one of the things you always have to figure out when you're on vacation. Yeah. But so we had this great location, and then towards the end of not the end of the day, middle of the day, after we've finished a bunch of shooting, I finally get a call from the other guy. He's like, hey, so I'm here. Sorry, I missed your call. I can open the gate up for you. And then I was like, dude, we just started shooting in this other place. We shot half of the stuff over here. And he's like, well, can you use it for anything? And I was like, I don't know. I was like, well, just hang out. I'll maybe send the guys over and we'll get some establishing shots over there. And then towards the end of the day, I just sent Narvy and Polo to just get some of the driving shots over there from inside the car. We hardly used it. We paid it was probably $1,500 for the location. Ugh. But I made them wait, though. I made them wait a couple hours just to wait for us, earn that $1,500 just for the single shot inside the car that it's only maybe 2 or 3 shots inside the car.
Well, we got the drone shot.
Yeah, but that wasn't at that location.
That was awesome.
No, that was
that's right. It was on the road into the other location.
Yeah. So, but that kind of thing happened all the time. It did stuff like that.
Yeah, that's independent filmmaking. Narvy, I do want to just give my friend some flowers because your performance was so good. And it was so, I mean, I know that you're an incredible actor, all of us do, but to see you be in such a serious and contained role, it was so fun to watch. So congratulations. I just loved it. And I love the guy that played Sato. Is that, am I saying it right? The bad guy.
Saito,
Oh,
yeah.
he was so scary.
He's a great actor. Very funny.
Great actor.
And here's the thing. He is the sweetest, most wonderful human being.
He's nothing like that.
Nothing
Yeah.
at all. Great sense of humor. He was talking about, well, obviously he sounds, you're like, I'd love to see you in a samurai film. Like he should be something epic, right? And he told us about this one that he did. And the person that he worked with was if I recall, was like a known actor or something in Japan. He kind of geeked out over it. Like, I can't imagine you geeking out over anybody or any project. You look like such a badass. So that's how sweet he was.
I really loved the theme. For me, is it okay if I talk about one of the themes? Is that giving away?
Yeah. No, I think it's fine. Yeah.
I loved, because I'm such an advocate for against this human trafficking. I loved that you guys really addressed that in there. And because every single day on my feed, and Kat knows, I'm like losing my mind reposting these missing kids and all of this stuff. And it just seems like it's so much of that going on today. And the fact that you guys, I wish the vigilante would have just shot up everybody all the time. You guys would have murdered everybody heads cut off, because it's just, that's reality. That's what's going on right now. And then Kat and I were having a discussion about who your character, without giving it away, Johnny, your character,
what the meaning was of your character.
Character was to Jason's character, and we both saw it in two different perspectives. So what did you want the audience to see Johnny's character as? Because I'm trying not to give anything away. Later on in the film, what were you hoping that the audience would see Johnny's character in relation to Jason's character? Does that make sense? Without saying,
why do we have the two different approaches to justice? Is that a good way?
Yes. That's a great way to put it, without giving anything away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, internally, that it's kind of what. First off, like I said, I had finished the first draft of this thing back in 2015. If we had shot it then, maybe it would have been ahead of its time. And even now, I've seen some people say like, human trafficking, it's so, whatever, everybody's doing it now. And it's like, well, I mean, I wrote it a long time ago, so even some of the simple ideas of like answering a Craigslist ad and it turning out to be like, guess what, so in my, so there, any interpretation really is fine, and so I'm a little hesitant in like stating exactly like this is the way it's supposed to be viewed, because really I want it to work for anyone's perspective, but ideally, without completely spoiling it, there's a way that you would want to initially react to, let's say, seeing a person who is, a trafficker, right? There's the initial reaction of like, I want to destroy this person. That is Spades. He's kind of like this sort of one track kind of thing. Very much a soldier, very much of who Narvy's character used to be in the past, And so there's two directions. It's almost like Narvy has to become the Terminator and the Terminator has to become the human. And so there's there's sort of that sort of element in there, I guess, in a way. Again, I am dancing around it because I don't want to like completely
dark and light have to be, one can exist without the other.
Well, and in order to do the kind of stuff that Spades does, the character of Spades, I don't think I'm not giving away anything to say that's not something that a police officer could do, like James Bishop, right? And it's easy to say, oh, we wish he could, and wouldn't it be great if we had people that could cross the line to get the really bad guys? But you lose a part of yourself when you do that. And he's a person that has gone through all that loss. His wife, his daughter, his best friend. And in order to right the scales of justice or to make it a safe world, he has to lose himself again. Is it worth it? You know, because then his daughter becomes a victim again, you know,
Yeah.
or the survivors, you know. So I think that's, to me, that's the interesting, it's the tension that goes on. And there's no answer to it. I don't think there's an answer to it. You know, we just see that tension.
And I loved your relationship with your daughter. You guys, you could see the chemistry. The chemistry was really, really great on screen. So well done.
That was a tough scene. That was one where it was even longer than it was, like that sequence, but I had cut down so much of it. I hated cutting down that sequence. There was more to it, even what's on screen. And I've seen some people had reviewed it and said they should have just cut that sequence out entirely. And I'm like, how do you do that? Yeah,
that was such
I know.
an important part of the
There are plenty of
story.
things that I've read where they're like, you should have edited that out completely, you know,
Well,
and just had
honestly,
in passing.
Like I loved Johnny for saying, dude, I really want to keep the scene. And even I, at times, I'm like, dude, if you have to butcher that scene, do it. And Johnny's like, I'm not gonna, you know, it makes it a different film.
I had people that watched it as I was cutting it, and they were like, yeah, cut it out, cut most of it out, just leave like 1 or 2 lines. And I'm like, I don't know. The thing I leaned into also was like, I mean, it's my movie.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah,
and it's indie, so I can do whatever I want, you know. This is what I want to watch. So yeah, I'm sorry that you can't like sit through something that's maybe a little more of a slow burn than you're used to, but I like this part of it.
Are you like, you know, the scene in the apartment?
Yeah.
That one? That was necessary because
very much so.
What the relationship was with him and his daughter. That was so necessary. If that would have been cut, we would have been like, okay, so what is going on? How are they? Like, I wouldn't have understood.
Yeah, it would have. I tried to think about it. I'm like, okay, what would have been then? Just him looking at her from a distance, you know, and then her alone in her apartment, and then, you know.
No, it played into the pain. It was part of his pain.
It could maybe work, but I don't know if it would.
Well,
it wouldn't feel the same.
Look, everything you do, Johnny. I mean, you know this. Everything you do is character based. Even and I'm talking to you specifically, your action tends to be character based, whereas some people really just like to see the moves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I want to tell a story even in the action, you know, for sure. I mean, there's a time when you want there to be a progression. So there is a time when you play, when you make it bigger than it should be, but then, you know, there has to be a purpose behind it. But I do love that apartment sequence in that, you know, and I was running the camera in that one. Because it was really intimate and I wanted to move around. So we kind of lit it. I had like Polo and Keita just kind of make sure everything was lit so I could just move with them everywhere and I can cross over to any side without worrying about like the major shadows or anything like that. And then
it was a real apartment. So
yeah. And it was fun. Cause then I would, and I've said this all the time in other interviews, but I'm like, I could whisper to Narvy, hey, look at her this way, look down or whatever. And I was like, now you're feeling what she just said or whatever. And I'd follow her and I'd tell her, just go into the kitchen. All right, Lena, now take a moment here. You know, whispering like the direction. Cause they're giving me, like, I would just give them a small bit of thing. It's like, you feel the moment, you know, and we would discuss a few things ahead of time, but then like, we just kind of were playing, you know, and then they would take, and all of my actors would do that, you know, and I did that with everyone where it was like, what else would you do? Because I would get the scene how I would think, all right, this is enough. But then I'm like, let them inject something more to it than what's on the page. And many times they brought more to it, you know.
So with the casting process, was this something that, were these actors you'd worked with before, or how did you, what was the casting process like for you?
Not entirely. Yeah, most of them were not. Most of them we cast through like Backstage or something like that, where we'd put out an ad, and then I think my kids are home. My kids are home. They're super excited. I might have to let my dogs out. But yeah, so we cast people there, and we would have them read, and then I could just see in some of the performances that they could give so much more than the little bit that I did there. And some did, like Maya, who plays his daughter.
Yeah, she's great.
It was like, I could see in just the little bit that she read that I'm like, oh, she's going to it gives so much more than what I put on the page, you know? And I was looking for that for everyone, you know? And I would let people play, and then like even KG's character and Matt Tang who go into the church to get Bella or whatever. I had basically like a half a day with them just doing the driving around, and I was like, oh, let's play with this. Let's see what this is gonna. They made it so funny. They turned it into like it almost felt like a Pulp Fiction sequence where these two hitmen were going in, and they were doing like all this stuff, and I was like, this is funny. But then like, and when I cut it, I was like, I like you guys too much, and I can't like you. So I ended up having to shave all of that out, you know, because I needed to not like them. But I was like, I want that movie though, you know? So there's in the back of my head, I'm like, I got to do a movie like that, you know? And the same thing with like the guys that were carrying, you know, Moretti in the hallway. I had like built out like silly things for them, like bantering back and forth, you know, picking up this dead body that is so heavy. That is a very like whenever I watch a Japanese movie, like the bad guys, they talk like normal people, you know, and sometimes it's funny, and I'm like, I feel guilty for laughing, you know, at the evil thing that they're doing. But then I like that element to it, and so I had built some of that in there. But even when I sent it out to people, they're like, I like these guys too much, and I'm like, all right, I'll cut that all out. And then I had to just like shave things down at the end because I was like, I was close to 3 hours in the first draft, and I was like, "Man, nobody's gonna watch this."
Did you? I mean, even though it's a lot of work, did you? I mean, what
Yeah.
I went through. Yes,
We have
super chats.
yeah,
Okay, forget it.
come
Can
through.
I just?
I'm good.
Okay.
I mean, I can stay a little longer too. I'm having a good time chatting about it. Do you guys have a limit?
Well, yeah, today
Yes.
we
Okay.
TV, man.
Right.
TV film.
20 super chats that have come through. We have tons
Oh,
of
because there's people that are wanting to chat.
Yes, want to chat with you and ask you questions.
I thought it was just us.
No.
You forgot.
I forgot people watching this.
Oh, all right. So one of the questions from our members, he said, actually, let's start with the questions from Alex, because these are not necessarily to do with spades. They're to do
Sure.
with Power
All right.
Rangers.
Cool.
So,
Let's start off with the very first one here. This one's coming in from Brent Pham. Hi, Catherine and Nakia. It was nice to see you both at the Fan Expo in Boston.
That's not a question.
That's not a question.
That's a statement.
It's nice to see. Hey, I was in Boston too, man.
Alex,
Well, guess it wasn't nice to see me.
This one's here's
Can you
from
read that? I can't even read that one.
oh my gosh, that's funny.
No, you can't read it, but I can. This one's from Ben Hamilton, 1156. They sent us $50. Ben says,
Thank you, Ben.
yeah, thank you, Ben. Ben says this isn't the first time Adam and Skull shared scenes. One-on-one, the Zeo episode Symphony of Destruction, I believe it's called.
Mhm.
Skull pulling a Phantom of the Opera only for Adam to prompt Skull to show his sensitive style.
it's
That's
funny
true.
because a few years ago, I updated my reel, and all my comic scenes at that point were with Paulie, and all my dramatic scenes were with Johnny. All of them.
Oh, that's so
My
funny.
career. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm starting to see a pattern.
This next one's coming from Nostalgia Ranger. Johnny, which actor did you enjoy working with the most during the Operation Overdrive cameo? Love Adam's reaction to when Bridge mentioned our mentor, who's a dog.
Which actor did you like working with better? Do you like mommy or daddy better? Who do you like?
Right. They were all great. You know, they were all people that I hadn't worked with before. So for me, everyone was new. It was a new introduction. And I more hung out with the retro Rangers at that time. Like afterwards, because we were always kind of grouped together. So mostly hung out with them, and they were awesome. They were fun to hang out with. Every single one of them. Yeah. But I enjoyed a bunch of the guys from Overdrive as well. You know, it was cool. There's not a single person there wasn't one person where I favored over another, I guess I should say.
The safe answer. I love that. This
Yeah,
one's
what's a true ansr though? It's not just safe.
No, I
It's
know,
like
I know,
true.
yeah.
It'd probably be easier for me to go like, I'll tell you the one person I hated. Actually, I didn't hate anybody either. So.
you know that's gonna be clipped now.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Everywhere.
Perfect.
Cut.
This next one's from Robinson 1342. I always wonder why you guys couldn't stay and finish Turbo and just replace JDF's character with TJ and make Adam the leader?
Stay and finish Turbo. I did.
No,
Oh, you.
Yes.
we didn't.
Yeah.
We
Thanks,
didn't. Wait, were
Narvy.
you a
Rub it
monkey in that one?
Oh. Oh.
Yes. Take
I'm gonna
that.
take that trophy, Johnny. This.
Oh, here it
I'm gonna
comes.
break it in half. I'm gonna break your trophy in half, Johnny. Ah! That's your trophy now. It's
Oh my
Oh,
God, he
dang
broke
it.
That's
Wow, you
Dang,
broke
was it a
it.
burger wrapper?
Robinson is back and says, question for Jason. Why weren't you and Paul in a lot of episodes in space? Do you think it hurt Power Rangers changing cast each season after space?
I think Paul and I not being in there is what hurt everyone, America, the most.
Wow.
You know, there's an expression, you know, heaven is in the presence of Bulk and Skull, and hell is the absence of Bulk and Skull. So I think, you know, I didn't want to get too, but I had to get.
You went there.
I went there. So no, we weren't there because I think that's when we were monkeys and then invisible because we were working on a Bulk and Skull spinoff.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did you guys
And invisible.
They made us I didn't know what was worse, the monkeys or being invisible.
Oh my gosh, those monkeys were so silly.
You were still credited. That's the great thing.
Well, it's funny because that's when Paulie, Kat, and I were working on Hamlet.
Yes.
But this is funny. So I used to have a statue of a monkey, like a chimpanzee, holding a skull. It's hilarious. And then after we did Hamlet, I'm like, that ain't funny anymore.
It's a reality. The
It's
reality.
reality.
Let's see. Hi, Johnny. Okay, so this one's from Brent Pham. Hi, Johnny. You stated that In Spades was originally written for Jason David Frank. How much extra work did you have to do for Spades when JDF was no longer involved with the movie?
How much extra work?
Yeah.
I'm
not sure how.
He
How much
wasn't involved
extra?
with Spades. By the time it became Spades,
That's true.
he was involved with the original script before it morphed into something different. Pardon the pun.
Right. So basically, there were actually in that version of the script in the original one, like I mentioned earlier, there were kind of three main characters that were soldiers, you know, previously, and were suffering from PTSD and handling it in very different ways. There was a lot of action, but it was still very character driven. So each character had their own set of problems, and so I ended up taking those three characters and basically pulled them all into the one character, and then I added a whole supernatural spin to it. And so really, like, there were multiple masks in that other version of it. So quite a bit had actually changed. The skeleton, the bones of it are pretty much the same, where there's, you know, this up and coming Yakuza, whatever crew that had been doing, you know, the human trafficking, that all that stuff, and them going in, and it being the daughter of one of the characters that was, or not, actually wasn't a daughter, it was a sister of another character. It's Narvy's character, actually. So things quite a bit had changed, actually. But the bones structure of the film was virtually the same.
This next one's coming up from Robinson. Question for Jason. Do you think Jason, leaving Power Rangers play a role on Paul Schreier not being in a lot of episodes of Lost Galaxy?
Yeah, sorry, Paulie. So they calls that his couch season. They were going to try to keep him on more because now that they're going in space, they're also losing Ernie. I think for a while there, Lieutenant Stone was working the juice bar for some reason. But then they were going to make Paulie's character kind of on the ship, kind of like an Ernie in space, almost like Whoopi Goldberg's character on, was it Deep Space Nine? I forget, one of the Star Treks. But they couldn't figure out how to make it work. So he didn't have a lot to do, I think, without Skull. So they basically, after that, they're like, okay, Paulie.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
So that's it. And Paulie was really sweet because he stayed on the show. He and I agreed that I was going to leave so I could go to college. And he supported me on that. And when I say supporting, like every few weeks I get a $20 bill in the mail from Paulie, you know? So he supported me.
Buy your ramen.
Hey, $20 goes a long way.
Yeah.
Oh, that's sweet.
Gets you a few meals.
This next one's from Zachman Caved Adventures. I believe he's saying this is a question for Johnny and Jason. Did you, wait, did you can Can you say it's morphin time? And hey, Johnny, are you going to be at Reboot Bleach?
Wait,
Going
what?
to reboot Bleach.
Can I say?
Are you
Okay,
going to
it's
reboot?
morphin time. And then, are you going to reboot Bleach?
No, he wants you to say that. He wants me to say that part.
No,
Johnny, reboot Bleach?
no. I think
We get
the
the
Bleach
instructions.
is going on right now. We're in the final chapter of Thousand Year Blood War, and maybe means like when is the dub coming out? The dub should be coming pretty soon. I don't know. We've done a few episodes, so it should be arriving fairly soon. I'm assuming that's what the question means.
Yeah.
Unless they're talking about like maybe later there's another reboot for it, but I don't know.
Oh, God,
I mean, I'm just ignoring Narvy right now.
Yeah.
Johnny's, it's morphin
Sorry
time.
if we viewers, sorry if we misunderstood your question, but
Oh,
That's all right. It was a
I
little.
misunderstood.
we're going to
everything,
amuse
so.
ourselves.
I've tried to read it as best as I could. This next
You
one's
did a
coming.
great job, Alex.
I appreciate it. This one's from Brent. Hi, Johnny. Ever play Kick the Can?
I totally played Kick the Can. Absolutely. That's my favorite moment. Is whenever we got to do fights. So doing that sequence in the movie was fun. We had actually choreographed quite a bit more on top of the tractor when I'm doing the fight. Like there was quite a bit more, but because of time and whatever, like I didn't get to do all the action stuff that we had choreographed for that sequence, unfortunately.
Did anyone get hurt during your fights?
Actually, my stunt double. Well, it wasn't during the fight. Actually, it was more just us messing around, jumping off of a mini tramp, and he had broke his femur or something.
Oh,
And then that's when they were like, "Well, I guess we'll just have Johnny do his stunts."
Johnny can break his femur.
Yeah. And then I would
God.
and then I was like there a lot with the stunt guys and going to different places. And then I remember coming up with what was the guy's name? That was doing like, because it changed choreographers like 3 or 4 times, you know. And then I had like an idea and I kind of pitched this idea and they were like, that's a great idea for the White Ranger. Like, dang it. And then they gave it to the White Ranger and I was like, I'm not going to give any more ideas.
Man.
Yeah.
I was talking about for Spades. Did anyone get hurt in Spades? Were you talking about
No.
Power Rangers?
Oh yeah, I thought because the question was ever played Kick the Can. That was from Power Rangers.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
No, in Spades, nobody got hurt. Yeah, no.
it's very safe.
We didn't do any like real crazy stunts. There's like maybe the craziest one was maybe a stair fall. But the guys that I brought in are super professional. Yeah.
Nice. This one's coming from Nostalgia Ranger. Jason, how familiar were you in 2011, 2012 with Power Rangers Samurai and the Bulk and Spike subplots?
Not at all. I don't watch that trash. Okay.
Yeah. Who is this Spike?
So Paulie and I, we did work with Felix, who plays Spike. We did work with him for one day, quietly and off the record. But Paulie didn't feel comfortable doing it without, my blessing, because he's like, as a buddy move. But also he's like, the guy should, if he's going to imitate you, you should train him, and then we should train him together so that he knows how Bulk and Skull work together. So we did a few acting exercises together at Paulie's house. So I was familiar with that. And I know also in real life, a 40-year-old man is living with a 16-year-old kid.
It's a little questionable.
Not a little bit,
But you
You
guys
came
are
back
best
though, didn't
friends.
you? You came back and did a cameo. On
Yeah,
that
like
season.
one scene.
Yeah.
Really
You did? Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and our very first take was Felix and I popping out of the roof of a limo. Yes, I can afford a limousine now. And then we hit, while we're looking back at Bulk and we're driving backwards, we hit a sign and go over. So that was fun to show Felix, we're getting this in one.
And the next time we see you guys is on like a sign, right? Or a banner.
Yeah, that's
in
right.
Once and Always.
Yeah,
That's
once
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's an action figure. So
This next one's coming from Mikey Taylor. Johnny, big fan. I met you a few times in Lexington Comic Con. Just wanted to say Spades was awesome. Will there be a part 2 also? Are you excited for Aurora? Also awesome. Like, love you.
Yeah, Aurora is actually, it's an independent, as a book that they're trying to make into an animation. So that would obviously be great if we can do that and get that going. Spades 2, we set up, you know, for, I mean, I have ideas for Spades, you know, to continue, but we're pivoting. We're gonna do maybe 1 or 2 other films, and then if Spades, you know, if there's enough people that actually want a sequel, but it's got to get to the level of where I'm really seeing people want it. Like right now, I have people coming across the table. There've been a couple people asking for a print, so that's cool. But you know, it's still super new. It's only been out for what, like 11 days on YouTube for free, and you know, maybe a month before that on Amazon. So it's still kind of making its I guess journey and seeing where it's going to go. So
Do you
that'd be
think
cool to
on
do.
your next independent film, which will have a bigger budget and all of that stuff, do you think that you would wear less hats now that you've done so many things on this film?
I would love to. I would
outsource?
love to, yeah, not wear as many hats, but it really depends on, you know, who's in it, what are we doing, what, you know, because like, I mean, as we were talking about it earlier, I wrote like a Power Ranger kind of just a funny, silly thing that we could probably do, but even that is probably looking at about $100,000 to get in the can, you know, because it's got Zords and whatever else and suits, but it's more of a funny thing. But anyway, so if we do that, but yeah, I don't know. I definitely would like to be able to shed stuff, you know. And there's even this one that I was talking with Narvy about. I'm like, well, maybe you direct this thing, you know, and you know, so you know, really, the goal is to just be able to continue being creative and make stuff and things that are fun. So I don't always have to direct. You know, David Wald, I have another script that I had already, the one that I was thinking was going to be the true follow-up for this, and then maybe have David Wald shoot that one, you know. So
yeah, lots of good ideas.
Next one's coming in from Holly Speaks. For Spades, how much of your own stunts did you do? Also, I want your car.
Oh, the car. Yes.
Brown car I had. So if you want it, let me know.
Oh, that car's epic.
Yeah, so I did put I put the mask on me because I thought, yeah, I'll just have a stunt guy do everything. But I ended up doing it all. The only sequence I didn't do, which isn't even really stunts, was in the church. I had Brett dress up as the first time we see him, because his build is a little more like, you know, Narvy's, and so he came in the door as Spade, and he's really good with cards. So, you know, but it was really tricky because he's left-handed, and I had to have him do the gun. So the card stuff, walking in the door, no problem, but having to do the gun stuff in his opposite hand was tricky, especially the twirling. And so that was pretty funny to watch him work through that.
This next one's coming in from Pirate Bell. Phenomenal movie, Johnny Narvy. Your acting was superb.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks for watching it.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
It for super chats on my end.
I have a couple of questions as well, and Nikia has a couple. This one is from Chris Kolka, one of our channel members. He said, Johnny, how did you enjoy filming Once and Always?
It was cool. Yeah, I had a good time. It was fun. I mean, first off, we didn't have to do a whole lot. You know, me and Karen, we it's like green screen most of the time, and so we had a lot of time to just kind of go. Actually, Kat, we were just go hang out. We went to Hobbiton or whatever it was, you know, and that was cool to see. Yes, we got to hang out a bit more than anything else. Now, I did ask. I sent a lot of emails, like ideas. Hey, can I wear? I actually asked if I could wear red, if Karen could wear pink, and then they stopped responding to my when I really, like, after the second time when I was asking about who's my character really, well, what have I done since, you know, leaving the show, and they thought like I was putting too much thought into. That's the way it came across, was that they were thinking I was putting too much thought into this cameo appearance.
Yeah, but they could have used you a lot more because you were there. Like, it would have made sense.
I thought it was strange that, I mean, it was cool that they brought us, first off, but I thought it was strange that we talked to you guys, we're coming, and then we're not going to make it. You guys saved the day, and then we're just in the so. I guess we're
Good
gonna
job,
head
guys.
back over to the war we were in the middle of. It's like we're in the middle of a war over here. You guys can't handle Robo Rita. Like we flew
Right.
all the way
Losers.
over, and now we got to go back. All our people are dead now. So thought it was silly. If you
That's
think about it too
hilarious.
much, it's silly.
One thing
Yeah.
we've always complained about is that continuity and lore for Power Rangers, they didn't do a great job with it.
Yeah.
They really
Yeah.
don't give a damn.
Fast and loose is the way they like.
Well,
to
that's
say
why
it.
the comics are so great because they fill a lot of
Yes.
the gaps.
Yes.
I wrote a comic. I did. I wrote like maybe it's probably more of a mini series.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever be able to do it. I think I'll probably like tighten it up and then just I don't know, put it online or something for people to check out.
Oh.
It's more funny than because I joke about this, but like there's always like it's got to be dark and brooding, which I actually wrote in this other script that I was messing with, but I think it should be kind of funny and make fun of it in a way, and so that's how I wrote the comic, which I think Narvy, you read that too, right? Yeah, we went through that, didn't we? Yeah.
I love that you guys. This all began on Power Rangers, and now you
It
guys
did.
still.
We would
like,
shoot
such
like
a
home
great
videos.
team. I
Like he lived
remember.
not too far from it, and we would shoot whatever all the time. I mean, we
I
did some of that on
remember.
set too on Turbo.
Yeah,
Remember
you
that
did.
Jason Frank was chasing after you?
Do you know where those videos are, Johnny?
Was that?
Do you know where those videos are?
I gave them to Jason Frank.
Oh.
Yeah, so I don't know who has them now.
I
so.
asked Tammy. I said, "Did you ever come across?" Because you and Jason had those little Super 8 cameras, and yeah, we're shooting a little horror movie
We
on the
shot a
side.
bunch,
With Power.
yeah.
Yeah, it was so funny.
I
but,
would always
she said
shoot
she
like
couldn't
silly
find it.
things with him and me or whatever. and
Yeah.
just dumb things that we would just crack up forever on.
Yes.
But I gave him the tapes to those things, so I know that they're in some pile somewhere, probably in there.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
I gave him the behind the scenes footage from Turbo, the movie.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
really?
He's got my
Oh
original.
man, I would love to see that.
Yeah, I'd love to see those Super 8.
I did find something just to give everyone a positive picture of Jason Frank. I was going through some of my old photos, and from one of my cameras, I developed the film years later. I'm like, oh, where's this from? I'm like, oh, this is a Power Rangers set. And I found a picture of someone who would hold their pants forward and just taking a picture down their pants. I'm like, who would do such a communicate?
He did a selfie of his
It was a white
member.
communicator. I'm like, Frank, you thought you were going to get away with it. I can see your watch, dude. I can see the damn communicator.
Positive picture, right?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what's funny? We did sneak in, like, we always like to leave Easter eggs, even in our shorts or whatever, but the short films we did, but not our own shorts. But in the movie, so Jason Frank had like this Super 8mm or whatever camera, like he got one and he started shooting his own movie, and I helped him choreograph a fight scene for it. And then he was like, let's shoot something. And then Narvy and I dressed up in these, I don't know, like we had blood coming out of our eyes. I don't even remember what the story was, but then we had these guns with like, we had smoke. And so we shot like stuff. And then I had pictures of it from the day. And there's a picture of me and Narvy like going through the smoke with guns, and, we got these things, blood coming out of our eyes. And so in the movie, there's a bus that goes by, and it originally had some poster for some movie. And so I put that on there as a poster for a movie coming up. But it's like us. I've got like long hair.
Oh my
This Narvy
gosh,
dressed up with
that
a hat.
is hilarious.
It's like it's hidden in there, but it's like as a bus crosses, you'd have to
Oh.
pause it. The 4K, you'd probably see it really well, but yeah, you
Oh
still
my
see it.
gosh,
It's
I'm
just
gonna
us like
search for that.
looking all serious.
I will say, because we didn't even talk about the fact that Polly has a cameo inside.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, that cracked me up. That hair.
That was his idea. He showed up with it and it was like, all right, yeah.
It was so good. I was like, that killed me. That was
I
great.
know, I was dying. I was like, I know that was Polly. I know Polly was like, let me just slap this on my head.
Yeah.
We had added a line at the last minute that just we
It
cut.
didn't make it, yeah.
We didn't make it because it screwed up the pacing. But it was my partner in the scene says, "God, why is the captain always pissed at you?" And I'm like, he used to be my partner.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
We had it in there.
On the nose.
It was yeah. But there are even in that sequence though, I think in the background, it might be hard to spot, but we had written things on like the board. It might have even like some very like distinct clues to who they were. They might have even had their old names like Skull or something. You know, it might have had
Right. Oh, right.
it was something like that. I remember you guys took to it and started writing some stuff, but we would always try to plant some little Easter egg in there that if people are really paying attention, you know, they could look.
They catch it.
Yeah.
Wow. Guys, I have. I mean, we have a million more questions, but I know that we've hit our hour. We're just so proud as your friends. Like,
Yes, well done.
Oh,
of
Hey.
our listeners, yeah, like it's
Well-
it's amazing what you guys are doing, and I know that we've had many conversations because that's something that I'm doing as well. I want to do independent.
And you have been very helpful in giving us
Absolutely.
advice and guidance with some of the things. You're like, this is what I went through, and we'll come to you like, Mommy, what do you do when this happens? You're like, well, son, let me tell you, you know. So we thank you. You know.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that, but you got credit at the end.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, special thanks.
Oh,
Thanks for watch all the way to the end, Kia.
Thank you. We know who didn't watch it all the way through.
I did. But I was watching.
This is how we find out.
I rented it on Amazon.
Live in front of everyone.
I should just end the show right now.
I have receipts. No, I was watching it on the plane because I had to leave anyway. I watched it on the plane, so I got.
Let's jump out of the plane during the credits.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to see that. That's amazing. Thank you. We got to get you guys on airlines if you're interested.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested. If you have some connect, but then I'd have to like send it over to Indie Rights, who handles all our digital distribution.
Oh, okay.
So that would be cool, but it's up to them. I'm not opposed to it. We actually, though, in our contract, though, we have 100% physical rights. So if the movies does well, if people are really interested in a Blu-ray or DVD, you know, and we've talked about it multiple times, we may end up doing that at some point. But
Good.
Yeah. With some commentary.
Yeah, some behind the scenes. So proud. I'm so blessed to say that we know you.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not blessed at all.
I know. So
You're cursed to know us.
Suck.
Well, and we're very fortunate to have supportive friends like you guys. So
Yeah,
We
thank
love
you,
you. We love you. And
Find your movie, guys, before we skedaddle.
so we're on Amazon and on YouTube.
Yeah, and Amazon if you want to purchase it, but you can
Yes.
watch it for free on YouTube.
Purchase it.
Commercials.
Yeah, that's right. There will be there are commercials on the YouTube version if that annoys you or whatever. It should be up on other places at some point, but again, we don't really control those things or when they're going to be there in Tubi and everywhere else. But it should be up there. But if you want to support us, we are definitely working on other projects. We're planning in the planning stages, I guess, now for what's next. But any of that, I mean, I don't know how well we've done because it's so early, like we have no idea. But there's one thing I do want to say is if you leave us a little star or maybe more than one star in a reviews on Amazon. If you do the IMDb or Rotten Tomatoes thing, that'd be awesome too, because that goes a long way and it really helps us. It being our first movie for you to say kind words, because then, you know, maybe some investor will see Spades and like it and want to put money towards like another project, which would be great. Otherwise, we're just gonna do our own.
it takes 2 minutes to do a review. It's super easy to do it.
If you can ask me, because I was looking for it again. I was on the plane watching it, and I was looking for the comments because I remember you mentioning that, and I didn't see. So if you can walk,
You have to have, if you have an Amazon account, you can just go and write a review. It's really easy to do. It takes 5 seconds. Yeah.
Okay. You hear that, everybody? Please write a review for them, and I will do the same. Thank you guys so much.
Jason, Johnny,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put you in the back end until the ladies end the show, so don't go anywhere.
All right, in the back.
Thanks, guys. In the back. You're in the back of us.
In the book.
Yay. We always have so many questions. It's like hard to fit everything in, but thank you everybody for watching and for all your amazing questions for Johnny and Jason, and please support them. It's such a great film and we're so proud of them. And the more you support, the more they can contribute back into the creative universe.
And the more films that can be made. So thank you guys. See you at Power Morphica.
Yes.